Damn Wi-Fi pickup. All right. All right.
It's
You know what?
live.
It's saying that we are live, so it actually didn't do any of the 10-second. It didn't do any of that. So look, what's up, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the What Up Dope Show. It's your boy Dame D. I am back with another one. I have a guest that's going to be joining me in today's show. I'll go ahead and let her introduce herself to the show.
It is DJ Shawnee D, but everybody calls me Sean. So either one. How y'all doing? Good. I know.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure everyone can hear us, and so give me a second to check our audio.
Good. I
Oh,
know.
I'm going to make sure we can be heard. So we are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. DJ Shiny D, what the dealio? What's going on? How your Saturday night been going?
It's been going good. I did have some things go on a little earlier, but it's water off a duck's back. We ain't gonna hold on to it. Trying to protect your peace is a full-time job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, always,
How
always.
about
You know,
yours? How about your day? Where you been?
my day it's been going. It's been so far so good. You know, like I said right before we started recording. You know, I had a few stops. You know, I done been up to Cinco de Mayo. I done been up to City Hall, so I done had a few drinks in me. You know, but my day has been going good thus far. And I'm just actually checking to make sure that we can be heard and we are live on YouTube. So here we go. I'm just okay. Well, there we go. So we can be heard. We are live on both platforms. But no, my day has been going pretty good thus far. So DJ Shiny D. We're going to kind of do it like how we do a freestyle Friday, but we do have a topic. So going ahead and give them today's topic. And we do have a few people watching. I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It helps the channel grow. But DJ Shiny D, hit them with today's title and what we're going to be talking about.
So I know we got a topic, but I had something happen to me earlier today, and I kind of want to talk about it first, if you don't mind. Do you mind?
I don't mind at all.
All right, cool. So I had to run out to the meat market, right? And I had to stop by the beauty supply store. So I go and I come back, and my plan is just to come back. When I go outside, my neighbor like, "Hey, would you mind giving me a Budweiser?" So I'm like, "All right." So that meant I had to stop at the store. So since got to stop at the liquor store, I'm like, "I'll get some chicken for dinner tonight." So cool. As I'm walking to the chicken place, I see a friend of mine, and
Mhm.
I don't notice it's their car because the tent is so dark until I get right up on it. So I'm like, "Girl, what are you doing over here?" She said, "Yeah, I'm meeting." Now she married, been married 20 some years, but she meeting her old boyfriend. And she was like, "I told him to meet me at your house." So I
Mm.
said, so
So she don't
anyway,
put you in her
uh,
shit without even informing you.
so I'm like, so she's like, "Yeah, so when you get through getting your food, we'll be at your house." So I'm sitting there and I'm stewing on it, right? I'm stewing on it. And not because I'm being judgmental. I am just stewing on it because I don't like to be involved in extramarital affairs. I just don't like. pah. So so anyway, I'm looking on my camera as I'm waiting on my food, and they chilling on the porch with drinks and all this. And so I don't like him because he used to cut my grass when I first moved here. He used to cut my grass, and
Right.
then he started acting funny with her. And then he started creating drama with us, with me and her. So I cut him off. Like, I
Mm.
don't need to cut my grass. I'll find somebody else. It's not a big deal. I don't want to be in
Right.
this at all. So I really just don't want him at my house. And I thought I made myself clear when I said that, hey, I don't want to be a part of you cheating on your husband. Like, it's just what it is.
And
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 I
this was you were saying this to your female
I
friend
said
that's
I
messing with
said
the
this
guy
to
that's
her.
cutting your grass.
Yes, because he had started some drama with her and I. He was just saying really rude things to her. And part of, I'm sure part of her kind of likes that kind of action, but I do not. I don't want to be in it at all. Leave me alone. Leave me out of it. But I just felt like I thought that was a little intrusive because, first of all, how do you not call to tell me that you are meeting someone at my house? Y'all
Right.
chilling on the porch. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even go get my chicken because I had to text her, like, I would really like it if you not meet up at my house. And so she was like, "So you want us to go?" Yes. I want y'all
Right.
to go. So I just didn't like that. Yeah, am I wrong? Am I wrong for that? I was
Nah,
really
listen,
pissed.
listen. If she did not call you and inform you on, the situation that she already had pre-planned out, without informing, no, you're not wrong. Because first and foremost, if this is your friend, she should have called you, and made sure that it was okay for her to invite, a stranger. Which did you know that? Did you know the gentleman she was inviting over to your house?
He used to cut my grass, is what I'm saying.
Okay, right.
So
So,
I
so you
know
did know him,
him.
but
But
first
when
and
he
foremost,
decided to
still,
wait, wait. But when he decided to create some drama between us two, when he said some things to her that were kind of out of line, I cut it off. I don't want you cutting my grass. I'm cool. You know, I find somebody else to cut it. So and you've been done with him. She's been done with him for about a year now. Her and her husband
right,
been good. They've been kicking it. They've been chilling. I just didn't understand why my house. And
right.
um and not that I'm putting her on blast because you don't think it's gonna be a problem if that's your girl. But I thought that it was just, and I've been knowing her for years. So but I just thought that that was a little intrusive, to meet up at my house. What's up, Big Day? Can you hear
What up,
us?
though, Big Dave?
No, what up, though?
Yeah. You cool? You all right? What's going on with you? You look sad. What's up? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Just
Okay.
exhausted, that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, we're
Mm.
going ahead and inform him on the
Can y'all
conversation,
see me?
and the talks that we were having, before he came
Can
in,
y'all see
Sean.
me?
Yeah, we can see you. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we
I was
see
just
you. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the clip, the quick version, Big Day. I had a friend that invited her ex. Now she married, but she invited her ex over to my house to meet up at my house. And so I just thought that that was a little intrusive because I don't really, like them like that. And so, do you think that that's wrong to be like, "Hey, meet me at my boy house," and then we sitting chilling on his porch when he show up home, like especially with somebody that he don't mess with. I don't mess with dude. So I thought it was intrusive to decide to meet. Detroit is a big place. You could have met up anywhere, but my house.
Right.
Um, disrespectful.
Yeah.
Disrespectful, no respect for you. Just thinking about herself, want to meet up with her friend at your place because she ain't got nowhere else to go meet. Very disrespectful. Could have asked you, was it okay? She knew if she would have asked you, you would have said no because you don't deal with the guy. So
Mm.
that's why I said it's disrespectful to you and just disrespectful, period, because now she's showing a stranger where you live. And even though you know who he is, it doesn't matter. You don't deal with him. So no one should be coming to your property that you deal with. And number one, she should never invite no one to your home without asking you, regardless if you're going to say yes or no.
Now, see, I have met him because when I first moved here, he cut my grass. He used to cut my grass because I didn't know nobody. But he kind of created some drama with the two of us. So I kind of was like, "Hey, you ain't gotta cut my grass no more. I'm cool. Don't worry about it." Because I wanted to be out of it, you know. And she knew this, so I felt like, you know, just to even decide to meet up and chill at my house, I really didn't like that. I had to text her from where I was, like, "Hey, y'all, I'm gonna need y'all to go. Like,
Right.
I'm gonna need y'all to go, cause I don't want him to think it's cool like that, cause it ain't. And
So
you
you
might have forgave him. You might have forgave him, but I didn't forget that shit. I
so
didn't
you
forget
pull
No,
the shit that he did.
so you
go
pull
ahead
up
now.
and they at your crib, or you come
They
outside and they at your crib.
No, I told you I stopped at the store. I was like, I'm gonna go get some chicken for tonight. And she was sitting in front of the chicken spot right around the corner from my house. So when she was like, yeah, I just told him to meet me at your house. So he over there already. He just said her dog's in the door. I could see her dogs at the door, at the storm door. So, but y'all didn't made up a plan. So I still gotta wait on my food. So I'm like, all right, I'm thinking about it, I'm processing it. And as I look at my camera, they chilling on my porch with drinks, smoking, they kicking it on my porch. Ain't nobody told me shit, and I don't fuck with dude.
Right.
Question. Um, she told you she was about to meet with the guy.
She told me at the store around the corner. He was already at my house. She didn't give me no pre-warning. She didn't call to see that it was okay. And then she was like, well, I called you earlier, but I was asleep. So, but if I didn't answer the phone, that meant no.
Right.
You know what I mean? That meant no. So,
No, you didn't
and, and,
answer the phone. She didn't supposed
and
to
this
continue to do that.
and
Period.
it's not going to affect our friendship. Like, you know, that's still my girl, you know, but I just, I don't know. I just felt wrong about it because I don't want to aid you in cheating on your husband. That ain't what I do, you know?
Right.
But see, you are the scapegoat. Believe it or
And I
not.
always have been. I always have been, Big Dave. And that's why a lot of my friends' mates don't like me. It isn't because of what I do. It's because of what they've lied on me. I was with Sean. I was over at Sean's house. I was this. I was that. And
N-
Sean don't even know about it.
Now my question is, how close are you to her husband?
I wouldn't say that I'm super close, but I mean I like them a lot. I like them together.
Okay.
20 some years is a big deal, you
Yeah,
know?
because you got to ask yourself this question. If somehow this situation, what she got going on with this other gentleman, was to hit the fan and her husband found out about it, and it comes back that that you allowed them to meet up, at your place, you wouldn't, the husband would be looking at you sideways. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you
Mhm.
definitely wouldn't want that, want that smoke, or want him looking at you some type of way, meaning that, you've been his friends for over 20 years, and, and you allow for his wife to meet another, man, over at your house. You know what I mean?
Yes, because we have been friends for years, and I don't want to. I'm just on a different journey. I'm not here to judge because that's my girl. So
Right.
regardless, that it ain't gonna fuck up our friendship or none of that. But what I am saying is that I'm trying to get blessings, and I don't want my blessings blocked because of what you got going on. You know what I
Right.
mean? I got my own journey that I'm working on, and what I don't want to do is be a part of that. I don't want to be a
Right.
part of that. You
And, and,
know?
and I want to ask a few people that's in there on the chat, if you were in a situation, like LaShawn was, and you had one of your best friends call you up, and be like, look, I got me and a friend of mine is getting ready to meet over at your friend's house, and you were cool with your friend and their significant other, would you allow that situation to happen, or would you tell them that, that's inappropriate, and they have to meet up somewhere else, So I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and give me your opinion down below. Definitely chat. I need for you guys to, interact with us on this conversation. Give us your opinion. Is she wrong? In your opinion, for allowing her friend and this man to be able to come over to her house, or is she disloyal to to the whole situation, with meaning that she knows the husband, so but go ahead, LaShawn, and continue with with the conversation.
I want to know from y'all point of view, how much do you guys aid your friends in
Um,
cheating on their wives?
I
Like,
don't.
how much would you be involved? Like, if the wife called you right now, be like, Donald said he with you, would you lie?
And I'm gonna go ahead, Big Dave. I'll let you go first.
No, you can go ahead. I
All
see
right.
what
Okay.
Well, as a friend, as a friend, you're going to take your friend's side. You're going to lie, and try to cover up for that friend, you know, um, and just try to and cover for them at that time, So most people, will try to cover up for that friend to try to aid and abet them in that situation. To
So
answer your
you guys
question.
really, so what you're saying is you actually advocate for this kind of behavior, because if you
Well, I'm
don't
not going to say
agree,
I advocate, but it's kind of like the situation that you were put in. She didn't even ask you in the beginning. They were already there. You know what I mean? So
right?
they really didn't even give you a chance to say yay or nay. But at the end of the day, you're calling yourself a friend. So more than
I'm.
likely most people would allow that situation, meaning that it's a friend. So to answer your question, if it was a friend of mine, I probably kind of would aid them and embed them, but going forward, I would let them know, like, look, don't put me in this shit no more going forward.
Well, I mean, let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it all the way real. 100. We all have did it. We all have been the people that been the scapegoats, and we done had people be the scapegoats for us. That usually you do shit like that. Young. But the minute you start to understand that it can become a problem, and you don't want it being a problem, you're supposed to pull your peoples to the side and say, look, see, because I get a lot of people because my condition. I get a lot of people that use me. Oh, I got to go do this, go do today, and and they start to want. They already started to wonder on their own that they're using him a little too much. So I have to
Mhm.
tell people, quit using me. And I'm not trying to hog that. I'm gonna give y'all a quick story. And it's a little different from LaShawn's, but it's the same. I had met this female, and me and this female decided to go on a date. I picked her up. We dropped her son off at the babysitter's. We went to my old neighborhood on Pearton to Eminem Shrimp Shack, which is uptown. It's what it used to be years ago. And we went to get shrimp and stuff, and I'm getting a phone call saying, man, this nigga just kidnapped his girl, man, in front of his sisters, and man, he put his hands on her. He kidnapped her from Watts, the male dancer spot, right? I pull up
Mhm.
with the new girl at my house, and he's on my porch with this girl putting his hands on her. So
Mhm.
the new girl that's with me, she looking at me like, what's this? And I'm like, I don't know. So we pull in the garage. I take her in the house. She looking at the window. I go out there and tell him, what's up? So I said, you got to get a cab. Y'all got to go. He gets her in the cab. The cab driver would not pull out because he putting his hands on her in the cab. I had to go out there and I had to get a cab driver $50 to take him home from my house. But guess how my date went the rest of the night?
Mhm.
She felt like I allow these kind of things. So after I dropped her off, she didn't want to fuck with me no more.
Mhm.
So it can turn to a serious problem because, like Dane said, what if the husband, this is a small world. You said this in the beginning. This is Detroit. This is a small world, okay? You don't know who the husband know in your area. Somebody can see her on your porch with a nigga with you not there. Then you
Yeah,
pull up, they see you, and they get back to her husband. I know that's what I'm talking about. That bitch, man. That's why I don't like her hang. And suddenly you the bad guy, but he ain't
right.
thinking about what his wife doing.
Mm-mm.
So it
Mm-mm.
can turn into a serious problem. And when you're a grown person, I know you said you and her, it's not gonna break the friendship up, but
Mm-mm.
at some point you have to tell your peoples, look, don't put me in that predicament ever again, ever.
Yeah, and I just, like I said, I guess I'm just a different kind of person because when I'm done with somebody, I'm done with somebody, and so I don't care about you rekindling, your relationship with him. Just don't do it at my house because he has caused some drama already. And I thought we were done. So I didn't think we needed to reiterate that I don't want him at my house. But then to not give me a choice and then to just bring him over here, it was a lot for me. And so the good thing is we've been friends so long that I can have that conversation with her, like, and I just text her like, "Hey, I'm gonna need y'all to go by the time I get home, because I don't want to see him, because I ain't forgot. I ain't forgot
See,
the shit he did. I ain't forget."
right. And then not just that, LaShawn, you gotta also remember, what if the husband has a tracking device or in tracking her,
And everybody-
and it leads him back, to your house, you know what I mean? And he come over there on some, I'm about to kill a nigga type shit, you know what I mean? So you got to be careful in situations like that, because motherfuckers be on some, I'm gonna kill a motherfucker if I catch, her out in this situation. So you definitely don't want to put yourself, in that situation, and even though you're trying to look out for a friend, because she don't know if he has a what do you call it, little thing
Tracking
that
device.
they can
air
put
tag,
in.
air
Yeah, a
tag.
tag. He can have an air tag in her shit.
And them
Yeah,
air
You know what I
tags
mean?
is very popular because I
yeah,
know women that track guys all the time with that, and they don't have a clue.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And it's funny that y'all would say that because I know a female that used to track her friend, and she had it in the car, and he didn't even know it. And everywhere he goes, she said that she had the black fist come up, and that fist be every damn where. And I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow.
So
She
Exactly.
met
what
him
is
So
at
so
a,
when
at
I was
a
asking you
girl's house.
guys. I was asking you guys that question, but you got friends like you were saying, damn man, your friend, if his girl called, you gonna cover for him, right? And then you just gonna have a separate conversation with him, about, hey, don't put me in the middle. But what if he do it again?
I
Because
mean,
we
now
know some
if
serial cheaters.
if if you had that conversation with him already and you told him like, look, I cover for you this time, but don't put me in the middle, of your bullshit, because what you doing, it's some bullshit, and I'm actually, friends with you and your wife. You know what I mean? So at that time, if you told him once, then the second time, if he tried to involve you in it, he's on his own, because he's already been warned.
But do you tell the girl when she call again? Do you
I
call? Do
Excuse
you
me.
mean,
tell?
Excuse me.
Like,
go
okay,
ahead, Dave.
so
I'll allow you to go ahead and answer that one.
yeah, no, he was
No,
asking
because
what
I ain't
you to
here.
reiterate. So if he says, if you tell him after the girlfriend call you the first time and ask you, is he with you, and you say yeah, you have your conversation with him, like, yo, don't do that, don't put me in the middle, but he do it again. And the girl might see you out. Let's just say y'all out at a barbecue, you see the girl, and she's like, yeah, y'all went bowling, right? He said y'all went bowling last Saturday. Do you tell her, like, he wasn't with me, or do you lie again for him?
Real estate. Um, because you know what? To be honest,
It looked like your video went out, Dave, but we still can hear you. Go ahead.
I don't know why my video went out. That's crazy. Yeah,
Sound like his audio just went out too. Dave.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Mm-mm. But what I mean, do you
Okay,
lie
so but
again? Do you still
I'll
keep
give my
covering?
input on that. You know, but in a situation like he probably gonna have to come back out and then come back in. You know, but
Mhm.
in a situation like that, if you already if your friend puts you in that situation already once, and you pre-warned him like, look, I don't think that's, a good situation for you to involve me, in your bullshit, so please don't do that again. I don't think if they involved you in that a second time that if you wouldn't have covered for them, it's pretty much on them. You know what I mean? They pretty much put themselves in a fucked up situation. So, and that's just like I was saying in the beginning. You don't know if this husband, or the wife, has an air tag, tracking this person. So for them to put you in that situation is kind of fucked up. Meaning that they didn't even inform you from the jump.
Yeah, but do you cover for him a second time?
No.
You gonna
You'll
tell the
cover from
wife?
them the first time, and if you told them that you don't think that that was a good idea, please don't put me in it. Because if you told them originally, like, I got your back, no matter what, then yeah, you cover for them. But if you don't want to be caught up in the middle of that situation, and you're cool with the husband or the wife, then yeah, he or she is kind of on their own the second time around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess things are just so different now. I guess, I've been covering for friends so long, and I'm always like, I've been covering for people so long that now it when stuff and most of the guys or the girls that I know that I was covering for ain't even with that same mate no more. So I did all
Right.
this covering for you. I did all this covering for you, and you not even with that person anymore. So it
Right.
it puts
Exactly.
me it puts me in a precarious situation where it's like I don't want to do this, and I shouldn't be made to do this.
Right. And
Like,
then that not only that, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where, if that husband is on some, suicidal murder type shit where he's gonna take the wife out, and whoever was involved in helping her with her little um with her little scandal, you know what I mean? So you don't want to put yourself in that situation, because he may be able to want to come at you first, like, look, I thought you were my friend, you allowed my wife to bring another motherfucker to over to your house, and we set up, conversated, and I thought you were my friend too, you know what I mean?
I guess,
So you don't want to be able to put yourself in those type of situations.
and I guess,
Exactly.
and that's extreme. You know what I mean? That's the extreme end of things. I don't think it would ever get to that, but I just think that it is
Shit, don't ever
no
think they can get to
consideration.
that within a
I'm
drop
No,
not
of a
saying
hat.
it can't be. I'm not saying it can't be. I'm saying it's extreme because most of the guys I know be like, "Fuck that bitch." Okay, cool.
that's what they
You know
all
what I
say,
mean?
LaShawn.
Yeah,
Huh?
but we talking about husband and wife though,
Yeah,
LaShawn.
we are.
And
We
they
are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
We are
this
very
is a
dissimilar.
grown and sexy grown folks conversation today. We kind of doing it like a freestyle Friday, but this is a a real grown up and a grown conversation. What would you do in a situation um if your friend put you in a situation that LaShawn is talking about, where she brought her sneaky link over to your house and you were friends with her and her husband, would you be cool with that situation, once or twice? So give us your opinion. Definitely comment down in the comments section. Is LaShawn wrong for informing a husband, or is she a good friend for, you know um allowing her friend to use her as a cover up? But go ahead, LaShawn.
Yeah, no, I would never tell her husband. That ain't me either. But I'm just like, especially me because I'm the single one. So people have lied on me for years. But how long do you got to take that to be considered a good friend? You know what I mean? And where do you draw the
Right.
line? Where do you draw the line in the sand and say, "Hey, I'm not gonna do it"? And if you put me in that situation again, I'm telling. You know what I mean? Do you ever get to that point? Do you ever get to that point?
Well, I'm gonna say, look, being a friend is one thing, and then being, because what if you are a real Christian and a true believer in your word? You know what I mean? You're going to tell that person from the jump, like, look, don't involve me in that shit. Like, you are my
Yes.
friend, but I am not going to allow you to use me, to deceive your husband, and to be full of this bullshit. So they kind of putting you in a situation where, it's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean?
For sure. And I just refuse. And so like I said, we ain't gonna make it a big deal, but I just want to know how y'all thought because I know as guys, you guys see it a little differently. You guys see it as probably no big deal.
No,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
see, and as men, and I'll be honest, and you're absolutely right. As men, coming from a man's point of view, we would cover 100%,
Mhm.
for that man and would not see it, as a big deal. But on the other hand, if it was a situation, if you knew you were cool with both parties, like if I was cool with, with the husband and the wife, it would kind of put me in an awkward position, to the point where I probably would be like, look, like I'm cool with you and your wife, or I'm cool with
Mhm.
you and your husband. Don't, I'm gonna cover for you this time, but going forward, do not put me, in this bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Um, yep, and I apologize. They have been married 32 years.
Oh
32 years.
wow.
Yes, that's a long time. And so, and we've been
Yeah,
friends
see, and
15
then you
years.
gotta ask yourself that if they've been married for 32 years, how long has she been doing this? Because this probably isn't the first situation, if she has not involved you, but this probably is not the first situation where she don't done a scenario like this.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, this is her MO. So is what happens. So, but I don't know. I think at some point as a woman that is really trying to be on a better journey, get closer to God, it would cause me to distance myself a little bit. I would say
Right.
that. I don't think I could be mad at her and I would never tell her business. That ain't what I do. But it would cause me
Right.
just not to fuck with you no more. Like, and that would be unfortunate because we've been friends 15 years. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
it would be unfortunate. And
No,
we
no,
really,
and let me add this to it. Now, there's one thing if this was a really good friend of yours, and you've been knowing her for a long time, and and she's a really good friend of yours. It's one thing having her back, and trying to cover for her, but uh, how long? It depends on how long you've been knowing her husband and how close you were to her husband too. You know what I
well,
mean?
I was friends with her. I've been knowing her 15 years. So, I can't say that I'm as close to the husband, but I know him very well. You know what I mean? And what you just said kind of made me think, like, so do you aid your friends in doing wrong? You know, because now I got a question, like, if somebody showed up to your house and say he just killed somebody, are you gonna are you gonna cover him for that?
Right.
Like,
See, and in my opinion, if you are a true believer, of God, and or just a true believer of righteousness, you're not going to allow, for your friend to use you as a cover up for her to cheat on her husband. So, but at the same time, if this is your friend and you call yourself her best friend and she call you her best friend, it's kind of like she's putting you in a fucked up situation, uh, um and you never know how their relationship is going, but at the end of the day, it's still wrong. You don't want to be caught up in between no shit like that, because at the end of the day, it's wrong. You wouldn't want that same energy coming back on you. So I'm gonna say no. You don't. You let them know from the jump.
Yeah.
especially like if she put you in a situation like she did now, you allow her, like, look, I'm gonna let this one go, but don't ever, put me in this situation going forward, because what if your husband popped up over here looking for your ass?
Right. Yeah. Or what if this nigga mad that you broke up with him and decide to flip the fuck out? You know what I mean? So it's just put me in a
Yeah,
situation
guess where they gonna come first.
that my house. Yes. And I
Yeah,
just
exactly.
not
They're gonna come
I
back to
don't
your
want to be
house.
in no drama. I don't want to be in somebody else's drama, especially on my day off. On my day out. Like, you
Right.
know what I mean? Like, I just
So
want
yeah,
some
so you gotta
peace.
ask you gotta ask yourself that question. By you allowing that the first time, you're actually allowing yourself to be put in, any drama that comes with that, and what I mean is if the husband found out and he came over there on some murder, suicide type of shit, you know what I mean? You kind of put yourself in that situation by trying to, be a good friend for your friend.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough about me today. I just had to discuss that because I didn't know it. Maybe I was tripping, but I felt like it was a little intrusive. I didn't ask for it. So and we're going to let it go. We're going to show grace and mercy to everybody because God show it to us every day. So we ain't going to make it a big
Yeah,
deal.
and at the end of the day, we've all been faced with that type of situation.
Mhm.
Most people are going to, you know, kind of protect a friend and go with them,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, just try to give her, good advice on going forward that, that
Yeah.
she's putting herself in a fucked up situation and definitely don't put you, in the middle of that. But real talk with Big Dave. What's going on, big dog?
I don't think he's there anymore. I don't think he's there. I think he's off.
Hold on. I'm looking at him. Hold on. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
you
adding him
see.
to the stage. Go.
Oh,
What up,
there
though,
you
Big
go.
Dave?
There you go.
Nothing. I mean, if people keep calling and texting and doing all kinds of shit on my phone, messing everything up. But yeah, like I said, at the
Right,
end of the
right.
day,
Okay,
at the
okay.
end
Well,
of the day,
you back in full effect.
yeah,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, just you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, man. And at the end of the day, I don't go over people's house unannounced with other people. I just don't get down like that. I was
Mhm.
taught different. When I go over people's house, I'm going to always let them know way before I even make a journey that way. Is it okay? And if it ain't, I'm coming solo. I don't give a
Mhm.
damn. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not going to do that. Some people want to do what they want when they want because they feel that they can do that because they had that kind of relationship with you. And that's how
Mhm.
some people outgrow relationships because sometimes people, if you don't say nothing, they start to do it more and more and more. Now y'all got a problem. So,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I know you said you're done with it, but I wanted to just get my last take on it. Just, like I said, you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. You got to learn how to just be real with your friends. And if they can't respect it, fuck them.
So
That's how.
your best friend show up at your house and he say, "Man, I just had to smoke somebody." You know what I mean? I just need somewhere to crash tonight while I get my head together. You letting them stay?
I'm gonna be honest. In my earlier days, yeah. In these days, if I got my family, hell no, because you're not about to jeopardize me and my family's life over your dumb shit. Now, guys do things a little different. Girls, I agree with Dane on that. Sometimes we'll go to the end with that shit, but the older and wiser you get, you learn some of that shit is kid shit. And you
Mhm.
can't just do that kind of shit no more like you used to do when you was young. When you fucking grown, I don't want to be dealing with that kind of shit. But will we do it today? We probably still will if it depends on the relationship. It's always based on the relationship. Because you feel like you closing the door on somebody that you real close to, but you have to sometimes look at the situation.
But that sounds a little emotional though, Big Dave. You talking about women. And I'm just saying that seemed a little emotional, because if you talking on one hand where you trying to protect your family, but you like it depends on the relationship. I probably will because I'm loyal, all that other shit.
Well, that's
That's
if I'm by myself. If I got a family, I ain't allowing it because now you jeopardize your family. But if it's just me, maybe I will. It depends
Right.
how close I am, and it depends. If I'm by myself, I might and I might not.
yeah, because
Right.
even
And,
if you
and,
by
and if you
yourself,
guys are just joining the conversation, we're talking about a situation like if your friend put you in a situation where they brought they slinky link over to your place, and you were cool with that person and the husband, how would you react to that situation? And that's kind of what we're talking about, so, comment down below in the comment section. We would love to hear your opinion. Would you would you allow your friend to put you in that situation, or would you stop them from the beginning, and tell them like, look, don't put me in this shit, but yeah, go ahead, Big Dave, you can finish off where you were. I just wanted to, in tune to
Yeah,
people that's
like I
that
said,
just tapped in with us.
yeah, like I said, if I live by myself, I don't know what I might do today and this time. I might go for it, I might not. Because at the end of the day, the older you get, you start to learn stuff, man. Motherfuckers will leave you bold. You help a motherfucker, and the next day you get fucked, and then turn their back on your ass.
but can you imagine what percentage of people are in prison right now just because they help somebody? They help somebody move a body, or they aided and
I
abetted
ain't doing that.
somebody,
I'm not
or
doing
yes.
that. I'm not being an
Yeah,
accessory to
so
no one's
in
shit.
that same situation where your friend brought you in this situation, you can ask yourself that question.
Yeah.
Like how many motherfuckers is dead, over some shit like that. But we got a few people on Facebook, that's been watching. So, but yeah, it can turn out to be a deadly situation. You know, you know, trying to hide or just cover up from your friend, on both
Thank
ends, because like I said, you can have this husband, he can come looking for you and the wife,
you. Dang.
and the motherfucker that she cheating with.
what's a
Listen,
guy?
Hold on for a
What's a
second, but yeah,
guy
go ahead.
favorite? What's a guy favorite language when they married? That's my wife, and they say it with conviction. So you think, like he said, a motherfucker will kill. See, everybody be saying, "Man, I don't give a fuck." That's a lie. A motherfucker would kill. But they look at the expectation. It's my wife. That
yeah.
motherfucker was with my
Yeah,
wife.
so you gotta ask yourself, a lot of motherfuckers will come and kill a motherfucker over some shit like that. You know,
That's what I'm
um,
saying.
especially if they found out that you allowed their wife to come over there, and cheat, and you were friends of both of them.
It's just so funny to me to hear you guys talk because now that we're talking about a woman, it is conviction in y'all voice when they talk about like she shouldn't be fooling around and motherfuckers will kill you and all that other stuff. But when it's the other way around, it's like you shouldn't leave your husband over him cheating one time, and this is what men do, and all this other stuff. So I just want to let y'all know I know this.
Well, guys take
So you flipping the script on us.
Man, I'm just saying, y'all flip the script on us all the time. And I'm just saying.
Nah,
So,
listen, I'm just kind of keep it real with you. Look, if you don't want no niggas coming over there knocking at your door, like what my wife at, it's saying that the motherfucking you know, what's the device that they be using to follow a motherfucker? It's saying she
mm,
was over here,
the
and the nigga
the
that
tag,
the nigga was over here with her.
air tag.
yeah, I get it. But
Yeah, he
you
don't air
can you
tag there, and the air
imagine?
tag don't lay it back to your house.
Well, guess what? Could you imagine had you done what I did today and say, listen, let this be your last time doing this around me? And then at least they know they can't come to you with that? Can you imagine what you would do if that man that said, "Hey, lie to old girl for me because I told her I was with you last night." If you said, "I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna help you cheat on your wife."
You know what's funny is that you said they was on the porch smoking weed with drinks, and they did set up shop. They set up shop,
Right.
man. They went to the
Just
store and got
crazy.
their drinks and blunts and everything.
And they probably had it with them. But still, let my house not be the club.
And
Okay?
look,
You
old
could have
boy
went to
was
the
having a
club,
good
to,
old boy
to the
was having a
park.
good ass time.
Man, there are a million places you can meet in Detroit. You can meet up at, you
Right.
know, just not my house, not my dwelling,
And
please.
what's so crazy about it is so happens to be the nigga that cut your grass.
And this is why he hasn't cut my grass in over a
Now,
year.
now, and I want to ask you this question. A lot of people probably want to ask this question too, Deshaun. Was he cutting more than just the grass?
That's disgusting. I don't do that at all. So
The
that would never
line
be.
guy on Tubi.
First of all, he got probably 3 whole teeth in his whole head.
Oh
So
man, come on
that
now.
would, I would never.
And hold
And then
on, he got 3 whole teeth, and he's sitting on the porch with your girl
Well,
like he all
we
that.
had to ask that question.
no, never. I would never, ever, ever. I don't share well. I don't do that. And then it's already some mental health issues because both of y'all got somebody and y'all sneaky linking up together.
Wait a
So
minute, the nigga got 3 teeth, so that nigga extra.
three, three. It's all landscape. It's all
Well,
new
guess
grass.
what? That's all tongue. That's all tongue.
It's just a gate post right here and a
So
gate post
I
right
want to
here.
ask you this. I want to ask you this question then.
Yeah.
So it sounds like what you saying that this nigga not even is the nigga even worth her even doing this to her husband, cheating on her husband?
Well, let me tell you something. And I'm gonna tell you this just from game standpoint only. A lot of men with 3 teeth in their mouth got money, got dental
And
insurance.
he got a clear excess tongue.
He don't care. He don't care. Okay, because he do what he want, and he willing to pay for it, so it don't matter, you know. And if you could get over the yuck mouth of it all, then yeah, you got a sponsor. You got a sponsor,
Never underestimate a guy with 3 teeth, man.
in his whole head, in the whole head. So no, I'm really offended that Damon asked
Well,
me
three
that.
teeth. Then he probably
Well, I mean, don't be offended, because
no.
sometimes,
Listen,
I'll be in the bad with
it was a joke.
yeah, but
I take it as a
sometimes,
It was a
joke.
joke.
Yeah.
when somebody be cutting the grass, they automatically think that because it's some women
Right,
not
right.
saying that's you, LaShawn.
And it goes back
Yeah,
to
no.
the pool. It goes back to the pool guy. Sometimes the pool guy, be fucking on the wife.
Yeah, but it's usually
So
set up that way.
so that's
You
why I
know, he
asked
was
that
cutting my
question. I'm like, he
grass.
cut the grass. I'm like, it ain't the only thing he
Yeah,
trimming up and
because I'm
cutting,
new
is
to
it?
Detroit. I'm new to Detroit. I didn't know anybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
And it was
and
a
that's
joke. I didn't mean that.
and that's what he do. He cut grass. I mean, he's a landscaper, so
Right,
that's what he. But the thing is that and he was a pretty good landscaper, him and his team.
right.
But the fact that felt like I was being put in extra drama that I didn't ask to be in, I just had a problem with that. And there are guys, there are some niggas out here that are bitches. They are
I
bitches.
agree.
And they get in women's shit.
I
So they
agree.
would cause a wedge between me and her, just to cause a wedge because they want to isolate her or whatever. You know what I mean? They may feel like I got too much influence or she listened to me. So they cause a wedge. I've never seen a group of men, so many men, let me just say this, so many men that get in women stuff. I've never seen that before until now.
Well,
And so when I see stuff like that, it makes me not want to fuck with you anyway, because I don't like bitch niggas. I just don't.
Damon
And
a dick.
I don't. I don't like men that get in bitch stuff. I need a man that be like, hey, that's girl stuff. Let that shit go. Not niggas like, hey, she said this. I can't stand that. I can't stand to hear men say and gossip and stuff like that. That's so
Can't do that.
irritating.
Well, my people on Facebook that's watching, I definitely need for y'all to comment down below. Give us your opinion on this subject, on this topic, on this conversation. How would you react if your friend put you in a situation with her sneaky link, and you came home and your friend and her sneaky link, was at your house, and that's kind of the conversation that we're having, right now, today, so give us your opinion, let us know what you react, what you cover for your friend, or what you let your friend know that, off top, that this is some bullshit and you're not going to cover for them, but go ahead, LaShawn.
I just want to know, like, especially at our age now, like, why is it so hard for men to tell other men, you probably should not do that. You probably shouldn't fool around. Is there a reason for why you guys? Is it because you guys secretly want to have other women and stuff like that? Like, what is it that would, make you not tell your friend, like, especially when you cool with his mate, when you cool with his wife? Why would you want to egg that on? Why would you want to encourage your friend to cheat on his wife?
Go ahead, Dave. I'll allow you to come in first, and then I'll add mine.
Um, I look at it like this. I have had plenty of conversations because everybody calls me for advice, and everybody calls. I done counsel couples and all kinds of shit. And no, I don't have a master's or degree in that, but I do that. And at the end of the day, I have told guys that I see right in front of me still doing their thing, and I have always told them, "What's the purpose of being married if you're still gonna do this?" Because I
Right.
don't understand it. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. People gonna do what the fuck they want to do. I don't care what you tell them. But my thing, it doesn't make sense to me to be married if you're gonna still do this.
I agree. I agree.
But if you do it, I'm not gonna hate him for it. It just that's on him. But it don't make sense to me.
Mm. Yeah, because I actually have a guy friend I've been friends with 30 years, and we were talking, and he was saying that he wished that the men in his life would have encouraged him to be with one woman instead of encouraging him to be with multiple women.
Go ahead. It look like Dave having a few technical difficulties. Go ahead, LaShawn.
Yeah, he wished that the men, his uncles and the men on his block, had have encouraged him to be with one woman instead of encouraging him to sleep around. Do y'all find that black men, especially in our culture, that older men kind of encourage the younger guys to sleep with multiple women? That
Hey,
it's
listen.
actually looked up at, like.
I'm glad you brought that up. And this is getting ready to probably pretty much turn this whole conversation around. In the black community, it's looked upon, as a positive thing, for men, to be able to sleep with multiple women. Whether they're cool with the person that you're in a relationship with or not, but that's been something that's been encouraged, since I've been a kid, for men to sleep with as many women as they can. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that's been hurting the black community, for the longest, and I think that's why we have um I think that's why we have so many single households, from just this conversation alone.
Yeah, it's sad though. And then I don't know where really that comes from in our community because we weren't always like that. I don't know if I could put it on slavery or was it even, when the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, where the pimps were looked up at in the community, where the drug dealers were looked up in the community, the numbers runners were looked up at the community because they had women and they had money and they had cars. And I don't know where it changed, but people start living their real lives like that.
Right.
Like,
See, and I'm glad you brought this up because if we have some youth or young people that's watching this show, actually, there's nothing wrong with saving yourself, being a virgin, until you meet your husband or your wife, and I think that's one of the one things that's going on that's wrong in the Black community. We're over sexualized, at an early age, LaShawn, by peer pressure, alone.
yeah, by peer pressure alone. And then, like, because I've heard so many conspiracy theories about the government putting stuff in our products and stuff just in the Black communities that actually feminize the genes of Black men. It makes them more feminine just in their behavior and stuff. And I've always wanted to ask somebody that is gay or the LGBT, whatever you are, if if that would change your mind if you found out for sure that the government was doing stuff to feminize you, would that change how you would go forward with your, in choosing a mate or choosing a romantic side to be with? Would that change you?
Well, I think a lot of people, if they've done their studies on, just the things that the government has been, putting in our food, putting in, just everything, they have definitely, changed the and what's the word that I'm looking for? Changed
Gender.
wow, I can't they changed the way that men, far as the things that they've added to, like just with the soy, certain things like the soy that we allow over here in the United States, it's not even allowed in certain countries. So they have done things that has and I'm not going to say effeminized young Black males, but it's kind of like taken away from I'm trying to find the word, LaShawn, but it's I can't find the exact word that I'm looking for, but it definitely has changed
Gender
the way the
roles,
Black
gender
man
roles, isn't it?
has dealt
Yeah.
with just
Feminization,
go ahead, say that again.
feminization of Black men,
Yeah,
feminizing,
just with
yeah,
just stuff that they added to our food,
demasculating,
and things like
emasculating,
that.
yeah, emasculating, you
Right,
know,
emasculating us.
yeah,
So but yeah, and that's a government, that's a plan government thing that they've been doing for the last what, like shit, really 30-40 years, is emasculating the Black male, with certain things that they've been adding to our food, certain things that they've been adding to just the just the society, I should say, as a whole, I should say.
well, I just think that because like I actually, don't have a problem with anybody that likes. You should like what you like. You should, and be honest about it on what you like. But it just seems like everything is changing where it's all you see. Like I don't look at anything that is gay, but my algorithms on my social media is going to always include this kind of stuff because and like I said, I'm not dissing anybody. I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, but I
But
don't know if
you
I
know what?
want
And not to cut you off, LaShawn, I want, while you saying that, I want to ask you this question. By us saying that, like what you like, are we kind of like taking, are we kind of like giving in to, the wrongdoing of our people? Because let's just be honest, and I'm going to be honest, I try not to intrude on, what another person likes, or what sex, but is that helping, the Black community, by not being really honest on, you know, um, you know, the same, the same sex. You know what I mean? Dating and just having relationships with the same sex. Is that helping the black community?
Well, I could say this. I could say that I don't think that it's helping the male woman family dynamic. I don't.
Facts.
I think that, there are gay guys who are thriving together. There are gay women that are thriving together. So if that's what it takes for you to thrive, then so be it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't hurt me at all.
Yeah, but it goes back to the question that I just asked. Even though that they're thriving, does that help us as a whole in the black community?
But
Even though we know, because let's just be honest, LaShawn, at one point, these things were looked at as a mental illness. Now we're accepting these things, like it's normal.
Well, I mean, you got to realize like men being with men and women being with women has been going on forever, since Roman times, since before. So it isn't like it is a new thing. I don't think that I'm accepting it because I just am like, okay, well, you could do whatever you want to do. Because they're grown. I can't stop grown people from doing what grown people do. I don't even really see it as wrong. I just
Right,
want
but do we still play into to a system that we know that's wrong? And then at one point, we looked at that wrongness, as a mental illness.
yeah, but I don't really see it as a wrongness. I don't. When I see it as a wrongness is when people aren't honest about it. When you have a wife at home, but you're still going out to be with men, that's when I see it as wrong. But if you're honest about your feelings and what you want to do and you live your life and you stand on it, like I said, when I said that there are black men thriving together, they are out here adopting black children. They are out here buying up homes, and who's to say that men would do that with the woman, because the woman and the man dynamic ain't the best right now. It
And,
really isn't.
and listen, I'm never going to. I'm never going to be the one to agree with something that I know that's not right. But at the end of the day, I try not to intrude on you know who people love. You can't help you know who you love or what you love. So I try not to interfere with that. um and at the end of the day, I understand what you were coming from, and the thing that you were saying, that you do have these same sex people that, do tremendous things for the community, and for kids, in situations like that, but, at the end of the day, I still go back to, you know, um, our original conversation, this thing was once looked at like a mental illness, you know what I mean? So, that always kind of lead back to that situation, but, at the end of the day, I don't have nothing wrong with, you love who loves you.
Right. But we can't say love who loves you and love who you love and then call it wrong. We can't do that.
I
We
mean,
can't.
so what do we do then? Because
We
I'm on
live
the
and we
fence
let
with that.
live. Well, we live and we let live. That's what we do. They if they aren't bothering you, then why does it matter to you what they're doing in their home? Like what does it matter to you if they are not harming anybody? I think my
Okay, so
problem.
a lot of
Go ahead.
people may look at it like, okay, well, my kids are looking at this and they're seeing that, and it may influence them, in that same negative type of behavior.
But you do have a lot more control as a parent on what your child sees. You can't just give them an iPad and tell them to play with it. You got to put some parental controls on it. You got to monitor what they're looking at. You got to go back in their history, see what they've been looking up. You need to be all in their business because now we have this technology that is giving them the world at their fingertips. And we have to be better at monitoring what they look at. We can't just put it all on schools. And then people are mad because they're teaching about same-sex relationships in school, but do we not teach them about it, but they're going to see it and so they're not going to understand, or do we explain it to them and so that they can be more accepting of it so that there is not so much bullying, there's not so much gay bashing and all of that because they don't understand.
No, and I agree with you 100%. But do we be honest with our children? That's trying to do we be honest to the upcoming youth that's straight up that's looking for a husband and a wife, and you're trying to teach them the right thing. Do we tell them about this type of behavior, that's this wrong type of behavior, LaShawn? So I'm just going to be honest. Do we tell the youth that this behavior is not a behavior that you want your kids growing up, being a part of that type of behavior?
Do you really think that as a father or mother that you can actually stop your child from being gay?
I think it's certain things that you can intervene and say that um that may put them back on the right track if they were thinking about going that route.
So you keep saying stuff like the right track and they doing wrong, and that's an oxymoron to what you were saying, to love who you want to love. You know,
I get it. See, and I was saying that, not to try to offend, you know, um, those people who looked for those type of people, I should say. You know what I mean? I was trying not to defend, homosexual people and people who go that route. Put it that way.
the thing is that you cannot, you can try to influence your child, but you can't stop your child from loving the same sex if that's who they love. And what they're going to do is they're going to hide it from you until they get grown. And then there's not going to be anything you could do about it. Would that be so wrong? Would that be so bad?
Mhm.
I mean,
You
go
know what
ahead,
I
Dave.
mean?
I'll allow you to come in and give your opinion on that.
Mhm.
I know y'all don't want to talk about it. It's
Well,
okay.
hey,
Let's talk
listen.
about it.
No, listen. Big Day don't run from shit. I don't like it. And if my fucking son is gonna be like that, he gonna have to hide it from me. Cause his boyfriend ain't coming over. I'm sorry. I'm gonna love my son always. I'm gonna love my daughter always. Both of them. I mean, both daughters and son. I'm gonna love my kids. But their mates are not coming over if they're not girl and man, man and girl. I'm sorry. And that's no knock to no one. But see, this is what I don't like about the whole thing, LaShawn. You can't make me like it. See,
Yeah.
they want to make us like it. And then if we say the name wrong from what we came up with, because when I was coming up, it was they were saying transvestite. They were saying all kinds of stuff. Now they have a whole nother label. And if you say it wrong, they coming after you.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's right because I don't have to like it if I don't want to like it as a parent. That don't mean I'm going to turn on my child, but I'm sorry, my son is not going to bring another boy home with him saying this is his boyfriend. So he might as well hide it from me. And when he get grown, that's what he want to do. I'ma still love him. He just gonna have to come by himself. So
So
anybody that think I'm
what if
wrong, fuck them.
it costs you a stronger relationship with your child?
If I have to lose In the end, I had to lose in the end because I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I think God made two sexes, man and woman.
You know,
Flat out.
and if I had to answer that question, LaShawn, with my son, I will be straight up. I don't like it. I'm not going to agree with that lifestyle. Just like Big Dave said, God didn't make no mistakes. He made man and women. And for them to be together, not for the same sex to be together.
Yeah, I mean, but you can't like it. You don't have to like it. Nobody's asking you to like it. And I do agree. There are people out here that I know if somebody walk in front of me and I know it's clearly a man with a wig on, I'm gonna say, sir. And they're gonna be pissed because I didn't say, ma'am, I'm not delusional. You could be delusional and call yourself a woman, but if I say sir, I shouldn't be condemned because I said sir. It's just what it is. But I don't know anybody that has not liked the opposite sex. Well, let me say this. I don't know anybody that is gay that has steered away from being gay because their parents didn't like
Mm. Can I ask you a question, LaShawn? Not
it.
taking over that day.
Yeah.
Have both of y'all ever been to a restaurant and the waiter is you can clearly see it's a man, like she just said, and he goes by she, and you say sir, and he say no, she.
Well, I haven't
And
been put in that situation yet.
How do you deal? No, how would you deal with that, LaShawn?
well, I'm gonna tell you this. It doesn't cost me anything to be like she. Oh, my bad, she. Because I can respect you. It's like if you are Mrs. and but you want to be called Miss. You know what I mean? I can say, oh,
But you got a
okay,
full
my
grown
bad.
beard.
But it doesn't cost me anything. It's not taking anything away from me to be like, oh, my bad, she. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to
I agree.
disrespect anybody. You know what I mean? But if I say it just based off of what I see, and I say, sir, I shouldn't be condemned for saying sir when I clearly see that you are a man. And then you got to ask
It's the
yourself,
attitude, LaShawn.
So
it,
so basically, you're going to go on with the lies and deceit.
no, I'm just addressing you by how you want to be addressed, and that's if you nice about it. Because if you an asshole about it, you're gonna be sir all day.
Most of them are assholes about it because they feel that you're being funny.
And
They
I'm gonna
feel
call
that
you.
you're being funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about you like a dog then. So don't
Okay,
get.
can I ask this question to both of y'all, Dane?
Go ahead.
Mm,
How do y'all feel, okay, about the bathroom situation?
I
Should
don't like that.
a boy that that wants to be a she, that identifies as a she, be allowed to go in the girl's bathroom with my damn daughter?
See,
Well,
and listen, and I'm glad you brought that up, Dave. Because this is on. Listen, you can't
boy,
escape. That situation. Because you can bring this up. Most people wouldn't like that or allow. For their daughters to be in a bathroom. With a man. So why would people want to be lied to? About the same situation, Lashawn.
well, I don't agree with men being in women's sports. I don't agree with biological men being in women's prisons and women's bathrooms. I just don't because everybody doesn't agree. You're not gonna like. I agree with y'all. Y'all can't make me like it. Y'all can't make me agree. But if I send my daughter in the bathroom, she shouldn't have to encounter a man at a urinal. So
Correct.
I do think that there is a certain level of delusion that they expect for us to put up with, and that I'm not going to do. But for the most part, is all I'm saying is it doesn't bother me. The sports, the bathroom, that's an issue for me
Now,
because you're impeding. on our space.
Now, shouldn't this same delusional go on, from the jump street though? Not just for the bathroom. Shouldn't it go on just in general? And just letting them know, like, look, this is some delusional shit, that you're on, and you want me to, accept this or acknowledge some delusional shit.
Well, it's just like, say for instance, you taking the bus to work, and there's a crazy person on the bus. You're not gonna go to the crazy person and be like, "You're crazy. Stop acting crazy." You're not gonna do that. You just gonna try to sit at the back of the bus away from them and let them be crazy up at the front of the bus. It isn't until it appease on your home, your space, your personal being, that it now becomes a real problem, to me. And that's just to me.
Okay,
I'm
well,
not.
okay. What about going back to to our exact topic, that we're talking about your friend putting you in that situation. You know what I mean? So wouldn't that, kind of, wouldn't you want to like up front, let them know, from the rip?
Well, I mean, but you're talking about a friend, and then you're talking about people that I don't know. They're two different
Okay,
things.
okay,
And I think that they're two different topics. The thing is a grown person can do what they want to do. I am just saying that I don't have to um and let it impede on my boundaries. And that's what I was saying. You could have went and met your friend anywhere else in Detroit. It wasn't until it came to my house that I had
right,
something to say about it. You know what I mean? So
right.
that's it. As a grown person, you make your own choices.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that, but I shouldn't be canceled or condemned because I said "sir" when I can clearly see that you are a man and I didn't know. It's one thing if you a man as you got on a dress and a wig. I know that you are attempting to look as a woman would look, so I might say "ma'am" then, but I don't know. It's all weird to me right now. You got, like, they call them real women cis women now. Like, we're cis women, so we need a title, and I just don't
See, I,
understand that.
I haven't even heard of that terminology. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it is a new thing, and I don't understand that because I am a woman. I don't need any other categories. I'm a woman.
Right.
That's all.
Now you see what I'm
Yeah, it's either
saying?
a man or a woman.
Right. You see what I'm saying? They coming up with all these titles, and
Mhm.
people are getting furious if you don't say it the way they think you should say it.
But what has always been my question about the whole thing is, if you are a man that likes man, why do you get a man that looks like a woman? Wouldn't that make you heterosexual? Like, if you get I'm just
I
saying,
don't
like,
know.
why do you have to have a butch woman if you like women? If why do you like butch women? Then you might as well like a man. And he got the real penis. He got a real penis that's 98.6 degrees.
Right.
You
So
know
you
what I
talking
mean?
about the women that still date women that the but you talking about the women that still date the butch looking women.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just never
I don't understand
understood
that
that.
neither.
I don't understand that.
Because if you
And
if you like a woman, why don't you get a woman that looks nice
that's
like you?
if you like a woman, yes.
Right.
Because
Why
I
do you
remember
see if you
I,
get a butch, that means you still like men.
you like men, especially if you like to be strapped up on. Why don't you just get the real thing? Like,
See,
I guess
and
that's
it
the
goes
part.
back to see, and you kind of answered that question. What we were talking about right there, it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. I think a lot of these people have mental issues. Dealing with this situation. Thinking that this is normal.
Yeah,
For them to. To be attracted to the same sex. So at the end of the day, it's definitely to me a mental illness. It once was labeled as that, but they take that away, so now it's looked at, upon like it's normal, and that's what we get in today's society.
That's
yeah,
what they
because I
want
know
us to believe.
I almost got jumped at a party one time because this butch girl was in there and she said, and I'm just repeating what she said. I don't like this kind of language, but she was like, my girl got the best pussy I ever had. And I said, how do you know? How do you know for real?
Right.
Like
For
that,
real, for real.
I just don't understand. And it was offensive to them. They were
Yeah.
offended that I said
You know,
that.
because no woman would know that unless, you know, she had a dick. And no woman has a dick to know that she has the
No,
best pussy in the world.
not with nerve endings. They don't. They don't have one
Man,
with
they
nerve
walk
endings.
around wearing these strap-ons like they're men already, like they ready for war already.
I'm just saying, if we fooling around and you got to get up to go to the drawer to get the strap on.
Oh no, they keep on. They keep it strapped to their
Oh,
leg up under their pants,
Yeah,
like
well,
they
yeah, I was gonna say this new generation walking around with them on them.
yeah, like they real
I
men.
guess.
Yeah,
Like they
But
real
like I
men.
said, all in all,
yeah,
it still don't bother me because it don't affect me in
I
any.
don't care. Put it like this. I don't care what people do. Just keep it from me. I mean, you don't bring it to me. Don't mess with me with it. If that's what you want to do, I can't do nothing about that. I can't. I don't have nothing to do with that. That's your prerogative. I don't want to be added to it, and I don't want to deal with that if I don't have to. If that's what people want to do, that's fine. That's okay. They're not hurting me doing what they want to do, but don't bring it to my doorstep. Leave me
right.
alone with it.
You know,
You know.
and that's how I look at it. You know, to each his own. You know, I try to stay out of a situation unless, you know, I'm asked about the situation or someone brings that, you know, that situation to me. You know, but you know, I don't have anything else to add to that conversation. DJ Shiny D. You know, if you have anything else to add to that, you know, I definitely want to talk about tomorrow's conversation. We're gonna have a great show tomorrow. We're gonna be talking about the difference between black folks being, you know, racial or and prejudice. You know, so those are that's a good. So DJ Shiny, give them a little you know, a taste of tomorrow's conversation that we're going to talk about. It's going to be a great conversation, a great topic. You know, can black folks be, you know, racist? You know, in my opinion, we can't
Well,
be
let me just tell
racist,
you,
but we can be
We could be
prejudiced.
prejudiced, but we can't be racist.
Right,
no, we can be
right.
both. The thing about it
And we can
is,
be
I think
both,
we
you
both.
know, but we tend to be
Let's not
more
talk about it.
prejudiced than racist.
That's tomorrow's show. But
Yes,
just to kind of wrap up the title or the topic, you know, it was brought up like, you know, black people can be pretty racist. And two, so how are we racist? How do you know we're expecting equality, but do we always give equality to other races?
right. And
Well,
I think that's going to be a good conversation, you
tomorrow's
know,
gonna
and
be
I'm
an
glad you
interesting
brought that
show.
up and you brought that to the show, you know, because we'll be able to bring a lot of you know, opinions, thoughts and conversations to that specific topic. But go ahead, Big Dave. And
No,
add
no,
to
I
what
was
you were
just
saying.
saying that's going to be an interesting show, because believe me, when we get to talking about that, a lot of stuff is going to come out. A lot of stuff is going to come out. You
Mhm, mhm.
how
I'm gonna
Yeah, you know, and a lot of recent stuff is going to come out, you know, stemming from the whole Charlie Kirk situation, you know, so it's going to be a lot that we're going to cover on that Pacific topic tomorrow. You know, I can't wait. It's going to be a great conversation, you know, and hopefully you guys will come over there and join the panel. You know, I believe we have it set for what time, LaShawn? 8 o'clock
8 o'clock,
tomorrow.
8 p.m.
Yep. So,
Yes.
you know, it's definitely going to be a great conversation. You know, just today's conversation has definitely been a great conversation. You know, so DJ Shiny D, go ahead and lead us out. You know, I don't have anything else to add to that. You know, if you go ahead and add more to the go ahead and you know, lead us out of this conversation, I should say. Sorry about
Yeah. I just want to tell everybody, make sure you drink your water, you're being good to
that.
one another, you're being good to yourself, and that you get some rest and some sunlight. Get some sunlight.
you ain't
Okay?
lying. You ain't.
Yes, get some sunlight. All right. Everybody be safe out there.
You ain't lying.
Okay, well, DJ Shiny D, let everybody know what you got going on and where they can reach you.
I ain't got nothing going on tonight. Tonight I am a couch potato is what I've been going through. And Shea Butter Gloss, SheaButter.com is always popping. So feel free to reach out. You want your skin looking good. Let's go.
And I was just getting that, and that's crazy that you say that because I was just getting ready to ask you if you put that linen order in for me because I need some.
Yes,
in my
I
head.
got a big order coming up, so I'll add you to that order.
Oh, and
Okay.
stuff definitely be popping.
Yes, good.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
and
get
it's definitely a good smell good. It keeps you smelling good all day and keep you shining. So definitely make sure you reach out there to DJ Shiny D. DJ Shiny D, give them that website again where they can reach you for some of that shea butter.
Gloss 1S SheaButter.com.
There we go. Real Talk with Big Dave. Let everybody know what you got going on and where they can reach you.
Oh, podcast. We've been doing it for a little while. I'm about to set the world on fire. Just pay attention to it. I'm coming hard real soon. You can catch me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Real Talk with WIT, Big Dave. You can catch me on Facebook, Big Dave Crawford. You did.
Okay. Real Talk with Big Dave for joining us on the show today. Make sure that y'all go over there to Real Talk with Big Dave over there on YouTube. WIT with Big Dave, and make sure that you subscribe to his channel. And I also want to thank DJ Shiny D for joining us. She's always hitting us with some real facts, some good talk, some good conversation. But at the end of the day, and I always say this: love who loves you. Love who you love. You know what I mean? I try not to intrude on, no one else's sex life, because it's not me, so at the end of the day, do what makes you happy. You know what I mean? But it's definitely you definitely have to, LaShawn, you have to be concerned about, people putting you in certain situations where it may come back, it can come back and haunt you. Or hurt you in that situation. So you got to be careful in situations where you're letting your friends, kind of like lead a friend that you guys have in common, and somewhat into a lie. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with, you're trying to help a friend out and trying to stand up for a friend, but if it's a lie, that may not be a good look. You know what I mean? So I don't have anything else to add. If you guys want to add something else, go ahead and add. If not, we're going to go ahead and close out.
Love y'all.
Okay, well, look, it's your boy Dame D, and we are out.
Peace.
Peace.